Ah, good afternoon, everyone, or morning, or evening, or middle of the night, wherever you may be. It's been a while. It's been a good while. Uh, I think the last stream I did was a very shortened stream because I was cold and not feeling it and all sorts of stuff in early November, because then I went to Washington, D.C. for the weekend, which was awesome, and haven't streamed since. In large part because the space that you see before you here, when I got back from DC, was covered in the pile of keyboards that I took to DC, and it was that way until about 15 minutes ago when I finally said, "Okay, I'm just gonna stack them up somewhere else." So that's one reason. It's just been a time. So yeah, but we're back, at least for this, and probably for a little bit more here, because um, update from the DC trip. Uh, I came back with a few PCBs, including, you might see an oddly shaped turtle there. That's the event keyboard, but I'm not going to spoil it more than that. It's a little teaser. It's shaped strangely, but yeah, I've got a bunch of keyboards, including a half Osprette or the clog. But yeah, some really cool stuff in here. Some stuff I have to order parts for because they require a little bit of extra fun stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, got a lot of boards to build coming up. So at some point I will get around to doing so and do so. But for the moment, not yesterday, Thursday, finally my Osprette came in. So this was a group buy that was done recently by the wonderful S'mores in the low profile keyboard and of low profile keyboard and Absalom Club fame. It's a 34 keyboard unibody split. It's got an interesting pinky layout. One, the pinky stagger is super hard, and two, it's got an extra pinky key on the like you take the one of the pinky keys and move it to the outer column, and that's what it's going for here. But one really cool thing it has, which I really hope more keyboard makers put in, is a spot for a power switch. In fact, I think I have a power switch in the bag of components. A spot for a power switch and pads for connecting the battery. So this is designed with wireless out of the gate. And there's even, I think, this little pocket here, this little pouch here, is for the battery, but we'll see. Hello Lorenzo and hello Sam. So Sam S'mores is the creator of it, and he's in the chat right now, so go harass him, and hopefully I will give him a heart attack somehow today. Without just doing the obvious, like take a box cutter to his keyboard. One thing I am going to do with this, speaking of box cutters, I actually need my box cutter for a second. Wow, 300 milliamp hour battery on this would last like 6 months. Recently, you may have heard about this new Raspberry Pi Pico thing, or the RP2040. It's a new chip from Raspberry Pi meant for microcontrollers. There's been a bunch of them that have come out. There's the official RP or Raspberry Pi Pico, which is like a Pro Micro but longer, like sized thing. I have several RP2040 RP2040 based controllers that are the Xiao footprint, and now I have one that is a Pro Micro footprint. So this is the KB2040 from Adafruit, and it's, I don't know the difference, because there is like there is one of these that's like this, but I think it's also from Adafruit, but this one is specifically for keyboards. I don't know what that means other than it's Pro Micro compatible footprint. Maybe the other one is also, but has some limitations or something. But I didn't know it when I bought it, but it has a purple PCB, so it matches nicely with this. Then also it has a quick connector on here, which would be cool for adding accessories or something. If you're not familiar with quick, it's basically a kind of a standard for I2C connectivity, if you want to go that route. I think in some ways, if you really wanted to, you could just have like a split keyboard, but instead of having two controllers, the wired split would be a quick connector or something, but then it's not as easy to do like split compatible. I don't know. Anyways, there's things. That's a completely different story, completely different stream. But the idea here is that you've got a Pro Micro compatible footprint with an RP2040 on it, which I think is really cool and something I want to explore. So that's the controller I'm going to use today on this. Sadly, at the moment, ZMK is not supported on RP2040, and that's not a limitation so much of ZMK, but of Zephyr itself, the operating system that ZMK is based on. But it's coming soon, and Pete even showed yesterday a demo of, he's got something running on this very board, or not this very board, but this KB2040 with ZMK or Zephyr or something. So there's like, progress is being made. It's close. It's coming. Good enough for me to solder it on here. And meanwhile, you know, it works with CircuitPython. It works with just straight up, you know, Arduino stuff, I guess. I don't know. CircuitPython is the only thing I've ever run on a RP2040 based board. But yeah, so I'm future-proofing this. One really cool thing is this is $10, and it's got a USB-C connector on it, and it's castellated edges. So once ZMK runs on this, Elite C's are gone. I don't see any reason to buy an Elite C again, because just use these. Well, unless you're doing an actual proper wired split, because ZMK doesn't yet support that, but that's also in the works, so who knows? But most of the boards that I make nowadays are unibodies, so I don't really care so much about wired split. And the ones that I do, like, I just use Pro Micros. But yeah, it's fun. I'm looking forward to it. The 2040, yeah, it's $10 for the KB2040. If you can get them, they were very popular, as you might expect. So hard to come by, but not too bad. Like, they had a couple batches, and the first one was sold out when I looked, and then I just subscribed for stock notifications, and like, we've got more, and I went and I bought one. So I've got one. Yeah. What else? That's it. So yeah, this board is the you know, the Osprette. It has support for hot swap and solderable chalk switches. It's a matrix. It's, you know, it's a keyboard. I'm gonna build it. It's gonna be fun. For this particular build, I am going to use Robins, and not sure what caps I'm gonna use. I've got my My work louders just came in, but these are shine through. So I kind of want to put them on a board that has RGB, but I only have like one chalk RGB board and it already has MBK glows on it. This one? So, I don't know. But we'll see. At any rate, it's hot swap, and I'm going to use the hot swap sockets. So, yeah. Well, I mean, if you've got 300 milliamp hours, like, that's a lot of battery life. But really, yeah, like, LEDs are the battery killer. I really wish we had better, well, like, we definitely have better options, but I wish it was easier to have better options than the, you know, the standard 2812s and 6812s, because these just suck power like crazy. Like, I have one. There's one on my Reviung 34. It's not even actually functional because it's not, like, you have to wire it through all of these to get it to actually work, or bridge it, and I haven't bothered bridging it. And that LED alone will kill this in like 48 hours. And it's not even on. It's just there. You can fit LEDs with chalk spacing, can't you? I thought that was all contained within the footprint. Or is it more of a you can't get the traces routed because of that? Alright. While that's going on, I'm gonna get started soldering here. It's been a while. I'm rusty. Let's turn the fan on. Make sure my soldering iron actually works. My fan does not work. Oh, because it's actually not plugged in. That's right. So I have like 2 outlets in this basement. And one of them has my desk plugged into it, and the other has my washing machine plugged into it. And now I have a third thing, which is my space heater, so it's not freezing cold down here. But... oh, the work ladders won't fit with chalk spacing. Gotcha. Okay. But, like, I have a long power strip on my desk, and I had everything kind of laid out so the middle was available for plugging stuff in and out when I needed to, whereas everything else was kind of like, this is the permanent location. And now I swapped out the end where my fan was plugged in to use for the space heater. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna unplug the space heater. It's plenty warm in here, and it's an oil-based space heater, so it'll keep giving off heat for a while. And is the music chopping for everyone, or just me? Because I can't tell if it's my headphones being weird, or if it's something going on with a driver. I don't know. Anyways. I restarted the music anyways. It's fine. Okay. So there is a build guide for this, but who needs a build guide? The only thing I will need a build guide for is where do I put the I mean, I think it goes on there like that, but do I flip it over or not? Is it face up, face down? I'll figure that out. Oh, no, wait. Raw. So it's flipped over. But I could put it on the bottom be extra fancy about it. Oh, you know what, S'mores? There's a problem. No, there's not. I was going to say there's a problem in that the positive and negative for the battery are opposite the positive and negative on the controller. Which means if you have this flat against the board, it's possible that that'll make contact. But I'm not putting it flat against the board because I'm going to use headers. And also because it's flipped, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. But if I were to do this on the bottom and just smash it right against the board, that could be an issue. Because this is raised a little bit, so it could make contact with that. Anyways, just something to consider. These are really long headers, oddly. But that's okay. Alright. And I don't know if this is a manufacturing thing or not, but the finish on this side is not wonderful. Like, it's blotchy. I guess it's kind of the same way on the other side. Anyways. Sorry, I'm not trying to be nitpicky kind of stuff. Just more like things I notice. Okay. So the kit from the group buy came with all the stuff you would expect. So it's got diodes. It's got little bump-ons. It's got all the case mounting hardware here. There's a reset button, surface mount power switch, the actual case itself. Great, so we'll shove all this stuff off to the side. Oh, and a bunch of hot swap sockets. So we'll shove all that stuff off to the side and get started with just the diodes. Some tweezers. Okay. Get the case out of here for a minute. Get the knife closed so I don't knock it on the floor onto my foot. Okay. Cool. Oh, no, I did plug that in and turn it on. Yep. Okay. Get this out here. It has been a minute. Holy crap. Has anybody been working on any cool stuff lately that I may have missed? Or just want to share about? Yeah, I think that has something to do with how they stack them. Like, they're not... I don't think they're used to people caring about how the PCB finish looks as much. Because it's like, oh, it's going to be buried inside a case or something like that. Whereas, like, us weird keyboard nerds are like, what's a case? Like, yes, we want purple PCBs because we see our PCBs. So it's like they stack them, and then there's like some abrasion that happens either in transit or because there's whatever. Yeah, I have the split version of the board, which I showed half of a minute ago. And I realized the split version of the board, I think you said this in DC, but I realized it after I got home too, that there's no TRRS jacks, so it looks to be meant for wireless only, which is a bit of a bummer, I'm not gonna lie, because it's not a board I plan to actually use for any long period of time or anything. You know, it's just kind of a showpiece. And nice nanos are expensive. So it's probably not going to get built. I'm sorry, Sam. I might hack together a way to get TRS jacks on there, or maybe I will see if it's possible to... Someone, I think it was Critis, pointing out a PCB recently that had the footprint for it had the footprint of a Pro Micro, but it had an IO expander on it, and so it's like you can just use an IO expander instead of a Pro Micro, and then I think it would probably work with ZMK wired. Yes, send me a pair of those, and I will build it. I just don't, I don't want to put $50 worth of controllers into a keyboard that I'm never going to use. But $10 of the Pro Micros, yeah, I don't care. It's fine. Whatever. I buy them by the dozen, basically. Alright. There was a time in my life that every time I ordered something from Amazon, I'd throw some whatever cheap Pro Micros I could find, like a 5-pack or something in there, into the shopping cart. But I've stopped doing that because I've got so many of them now. I know I've said it before, but I want to re-emphasize it. I really love these little round diodes. They go on so easy. Like, I think they're easier and faster than through-hole diodes. Maybe not easier. I'll take that back. Through-hole diodes are practically impossible to screw up. Yeah, you know, really the only way you can screw them up is put them in backward. But these are way faster once you've got a, you know, kind of got a flow down. Damn it. Of course, I say that, and now it starts rolling all over the place. The one thing I have coming up is Zaphod builds. I think there's 4 of them plus mine. To do. I don't have a firm date from Pete on when they're shipping, but not too distant future, I know that. And yeah, I'm gonna do those on stream. Oh, and that reminds me, while I've got this cleaned off, this area of my desk, I should see about fixing my Zaphod display. So my Zaphod display, as you can tell, it's blank. But if I push on the corner here, it lights up. Like it turns on. And I think what happened is the ribbon cable either snapped, broke somewhere in the cable, or something with the soldering. So what I'm going to try to do is just hit this top edge with hot air and try to push it back down there to see if I can reseat it somehow before I throw it out and replace it. I don't think that was a direct result of transferring it to the purple PCB. I think that may have contributed, not the PCB itself, just the process of transferring it, because that's apparently that cable is rated for like 3 bends, not 3,000 bends, 3. But this was in my backpack with like 20 other keyboards, and you know, I had tried to make sure everything was fairly well protected, but you know, you're gonna have some amount of breakage, and that was one of the things that didn't survive that trip. And Pete has also decided that he is sending out kind of a 11th hour decision to send out display covers with all of the Zaphod orders. I had a display cover on mine when it was a blue PCB, but I took it off when I switched to the purple PCB and didn't put it back on. And that is probably what did it, because there was pressure on that cable, or it got pulled a little bit or something like that. Just something made it unhappy. But I've been meaning to fix it, but my desk has, like I said, my desk has been just covered in keyboards. So I haven't really had any room to do that. But now that I've got a space, I can do that before it gets bad again. All right. Let's do our pick and place with our sockets. Oddly, this PCB is a little warped in the middle, like it's curved up, and I don't know why that is. So it's got a little springiness, so I gotta be careful. That I don't accidentally push down on it and then let go and it pops up and springs everything off. I'm actually going to take these, push them down here, because of the way the light is, it's really hard to see. Yeah, screwing into the case will help. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. It's just something I noticed. Okay. See, now the way the light is, I can actually see the Kale writing. Because you know me, I am one of those people, they've got to be all oriented the correct way. Even though electrically it doesn't matter at all. Physically it doesn't matter at all. It matters to me, damn it. It matters to me. There we go. See, now I can see the writing on the sockets. Makes it much easier to put these in. I do have the diodes in, yep. Amazing how quick simple boards like this go. Like, it's just diodes, sockets, controller. Done. I don't remember, Sam. Do you have this, do you have a ZMK config for this board yet? Or for this shield, I guess? Not that I'm going to be able to use it right today because of the controller, but just for... Because if you don't, I'm going to make one. But if you do, then that's helpful. And if you don't, I'm going to make one, but I want you to send me the schematic so I don't have to bust out my meter to reverse engineer your matrix. Oh, shield is in master. Okay. Extra fancy. So I should be able to port my key map over pretty easily. Or main, yeah. I know what you meant. I got you. Yes. I'm using the KB2040. In large part because I have one now, but also because I am very, very excited to play around with ZMK on it once it becomes a viable prospect. Yeah, he showed me a PR or a branch or something last night of it kind of, or no, not even that. It was like a screenshot of console output of it working on his. Where are my snips? Where are my snips? My edge cutters. YOLO. Okay. And where's the controller? There's the controller. Oh, that's not gonna work. And it's the same purple. No, I'm gonna put it on top. Those pads for the controller are really tiny. It makes me think it's not soldered, but it is. I think. It probably would. I mean, try it real quick. Oh, it would fit in the case, but the problem is the USB port would stick out. You'd have to modify the case. I don't know if it's easy to see there. Like, if this was a mid-mount USB-C port, it would work. It would totally work. But because it's not... Let me see if I can... Because I already soldered these on. So there's a little extra shmoo. Like a mid-mount Elite C would probably work. So, like, that can get flusher against the board than it is. Because I just can't get it on the pins because they've already got solder on them. But if I sandwiched it in here, I don't know. TLDR, there's not enough space. And it's just because of this little ridge here. If this were lower, it would totally work. Oh, shit. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yes. I am... Thank you for pointing out that I was putting the PCB upside down. Oh my. Okay. Can you tell it's been a while? I can salvage this without having to do too much, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, yep. No, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, I am gonna have to find my flush cutters because I'm just gonna cut this because it's not like I don't have 1,000 of those headers. Like, of all the things on this keyboard, those headers are the most... Well, I guess they're not the cheapest because those diodes are probably the cheapest things, but still. Where are my flush cutters? Yeah, I mean, I got 1,000 diodes for $10 shipped. So, but I also have tons of headers from every controller I bought. What the hell did I do with my flush cutters? So what do you say, we box cutter this thing? Honestly, that's looking more and more. There, I found them. They're over by my 3D printer. Okay. Headers. Pop the headers that are there that aren't soldered out. Oh, I might even... No, I can't just push them through because they're soldered in. Okay. Take these. Put them in the trash. Okay. Now I only have to work with one pin at a time, which is much easier. If you ever need to actually desolder a controller, this is the way to do it. You don't bother with trying to get them all or heat, hot air gun or anything like that. Cut the headers. And then you have them all one by one. So much easier. And I'm not even doing this like the easy way. Which would be to mount this in a clamp or something and then be able to pull on it. But it's only a few pins, so I'm not... not concerned. Come on, bastard. Sam's over there like, you take a box cutter to my PCB and you won't ever get another sticker or something. I don't know. Threaten to hold something out for me. No, I wouldn't have actually used a box cutter because it requires too much force to cut through that plastic. The only reason I did it on the one that I did is because it was just cutting a piece of tape, which requires very little to no force. And also because the surface that I was cutting on was just a flat plane of nothing, so I couldn't have heard anything. Okay. One of those times where you need a little more solder. I didn't do it, Jerry. I didn't use a knife. But you know the whole adage, you know, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail? When all you have is a knife, you know? Or as AVE says, you gotta piss with the cock you got. Okay, let's try this again. This time, with the headers on the correct way. See, and this is also why I keep y'all around. Because that way, when I go to do something stupid, someone can be like, "Are you putting that on upside down?" And I can be like, "No." And then look and be like, "Yes." Because that, you know... My viewers have saved me from mistakes multiple times. And today is Ron's day for doing that. Now what did I do with the controller? Okay. Okay, raw goes on the left, TX0 on the right. There we go. Okay. That's better. And actually, usually I take the plastic bits off of the headers, but they're like the perfect size to space this off of the PCB, so I'm gonna leave them on because they don't hurt anything. Yeah, that would have been annoying. I don't know what I would have done, honestly, because there's a certain point where it's just like, well, okay. That controller and that keyboard are dead now. I mean, I at least had it on, or would have had it on correctly. Like the correct orientation, I think. No, I wouldn't have. Well, no, I would have. Because I hadn't soldered the PCB, I was just, or the controller, I was just soldering the headers. Come on. I mean, you can. But that would suck. Plus, I had already soldered the diodes, and, you know, it's fine. Saved the day. Thank you, Ron. Oh, that is not my finest soldering work. I mean, the solder joints are fine, but the looks kind of like hell. Not as bad as the solder joints that S'mores had when he first came in. Was like, hey y'all, I just built a new keyboard. What the hell's wrong? Oh my god, those solder joints were awful. And what's crazy to me is I feel like he went from like that to designing his own keyboard and running a group buy in like 2 weeks or something like that. It was crazy. And I was just sitting there like, and here I just build keyboards on the internet. I hope Dad is proud of you. Because you done good. I mean, everyone's got their first, like, Fisher-Price, my first soldering project problem. And one of them that I have is I've got a bunch of them. But one of them that I have is a Curia that I built. It was actually the second Curia I built, which was something on the order of the 4th keyboard I'd ever built. And I soldered the LEDs on in the wrong orientation. Or at least one of them. And I ripped all 4 pads off of LED 1 off of the board. So that was fun. Because there's not an easy way to recover from that. It's totally possible to recover from that. I just haven't done it yet. And I probably never will, but it's in the... I still have it, because one, it's a nice, you know, the rest of the board works just fine. Okay. I'm Dad in this scenario. I have designed a keyboard. Get on my level. This is perfection, man. This is the greatest design that's ever been made. And the wiring job is phenomenal. It's really great. I'm Dad. Okay, well, I'm proud of you. If I were to walk in and say, "Are you winning, son?" you could confidently say yes. When I say things like, "I don't plan to use this," or "I don't, you know, I'm building this, but I have no intent to actually use it," 90% of the time, it's not because I'm like, it's crap. It's more of like, it doesn't fit my needs. And that's totally fine, but I still think it's awesome. And this is definitely one of those cases. So what you're saying is the abomination was so bad that you held it and you got inspired to make improvements to your life. You're like, don't do drugs, kids. And then you stopped doing drugs and now you're clean and you're fine and you've improved your life. Then, yes. Then the abomination has served its purpose. Yeah, if you want a pre-built keyboard, I build keyboards for people. And if you want a pre-built one of these, talk to Mr. S'mores right there. Get him to send me one, and I'll build it for you. Yep. I've done that a bunch of times. In fact, coming up soon, you will see... I say soon, not like today. But some point in the near future, I don't want to promise when, because they're not my keyboards. But as soon as they arrive to me, I will be building something like 5 or 6 Zaphods. One of which is mine, and the other are for other people, as part of the Zaphod build service. Actually, you know what? I think Sam... Yeah, S'mores even sells them pre-built himself. Like, as in, he'll build them for you. But you should have me do it. I'm better than he is. No, honestly, you should have him do it. Because it'll save you on shipping, because you don't have to pay shipping once. And save time, too, because it doesn't have to cross the country twice, depending on where you're at. Next to your thing. I only have a nicer setup for soldering because I have a more expensive soldering iron. So the soldering skills necessary for a keyboard are very minimal. Even for this, which is mostly surface mount components, because technically the sockets are surface mount. They're not hard. It's really not hard. So I always encourage people to try it themselves anyways. Because at worst case scenario, Then you can send it to me or Sam or somebody, and they'll fix it for you for a price. Yeah, I'll even send you a sticker. I'll even send you 2 stickers, one of each. So you get the fancy... Oh! I guess I already have a bunch of s'more stickers. But you get the fancy schmancy Keyboard Kitchen stickers. Yeah, LEDs are harder, if for no other reason, because you can actually hurt them. These little diodes are pretty resilient to heat. But the LEDs are not so much. And then if you've got the non-E SK6812s, just give up on life because they're impossible. I'm sorry, don't give up on life. Give up on them, or do like Tom and build so many of them that now you can do them in your sleep. But holy crap, he's built so many of them. Okay, something tells me the nut is supposed to go on top, but I'm a rebel. Yeah, Tom... Well, yeah, I don't know if Tom does custom orders or just whatever mech board sells, but you can always ask him. He will let you know if he can or not. And then you may even get a... Oh, you don't... The magpie isn't visible, but you may even get a... Can I get it on here? Magpie sticker. The SK6812 minis. So there's, confusingly, you've got the SK6812 mini and the SK6812 mini E. Now the mini E have legs on them. The minis do not. And the extra confusing bit is they're not pinout compatible. So you can't just buy mini E's and throw them in where the minis go, which would make it a million times easier, because that would actually work. They fit in the same, it's the same size and everything, I think, mostly, whatever. But yes, the non-E minis are the worst. I hate them. I refuse to build anything with them. Like, if someone was like, hey, yeah, can you build me a V2 corn, or a V2 corn with the minis, I'd be like, nope, sorry, not gonna do it, because I'm gonna screw it up. I can't confidently say to you that I'm gonna do it correctly and without breaking the board or something else. I just don't want to attempt it. It's one of those things that's like Marie Callender or whatever, not Marie Callender, but Marie whatever, the Japanese person. It doesn't spark joy. I don't build keyboards to make a living, because I don't make any money off building keyboards, except for the few commissions I've gotten. But those are not... Those SK6812 minis are not worth my time. Just not at all. You don't want me to do them. You want a nightmare keyboard build? Okay. I would say nightmare keyboard build. Yeah, I would say the Korn V2. Just because of those LEDs. Because everything else on the keyboard, like, you've got surface mount diodes or through-hole diodes. That's pretty universal, and those aren't hard. Oh, no. Horn V2. No, but I was going to say without hot swap sockets, you use the little teeny tiny 0705 or 3705 or whatever Mil-Max sockets, because those things are a pain in the ass to solder. I hate those too. Yes, Jerry, but those were the mini E's, not the minis. I don't think I have successfully built a keyboard with fully functioning LEDs with the minis. And I've made 3 attempts, I want to say. I've got a Helix. I've got a Naked 48. Maybe it's just those 2. But just those 2 were enough to tell me that I don't want to fuck with them again. Just nope. Nope. Absolutely not. Okay. Now that I'm slightly undistracted, remember what I came here to do. So, what I was saying was, I think you're supposed to put the nut on top and the screw through the bottom, but that's for suckers. So I'm going to try to do it so the nut is on the bottom. That means I need to find the right size driver. That is not the right size driver. And then hope it fits in the hole, which it does. And that is the right size driver. Okay. Marie Kondo, yes. So actually my problem with the Mil-Max sockets, if you get the 0305s, which are the taller ones, the silver ones, they're actually fine to solder. They're not that hard. There's plenty of surface area. You're not like trying to solder right on the edge, and if you put your soldering iron in the wrong spot, it's gonna spill into the socket and you've just ruined your whole life. You know, they're pretty easy to solder. But I don't like Mil-Max sockets for their usefulness. I don't think they work very well. Particularly with the Kyria 3mm acrylic plates. Which, as far as I know, is the only time I've ever used Mil-Max sockets was on a Kyria. And it uses 3mm acrylic plates. And those just do not work. The switches pop out. It's a disaster. I hate them. Okay. I know, I'm probably making this way harder on myself than it needs to be. Yes, it does. I've been asking for Thomas for one for years. Well, I say years. For a long time. Not years. I haven't even known Thomas for years. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think the screws will look better on the top than the nuts. And Sam's probably going to be like, oh, well, that's how you're supposed to do it anyways. And I'm going to be like, okay. Hello, Ejon. Ehan? Ejon. Please let me know so I do not continue to butcher your name. I don't want to butcher your name. I will say this, installing these screws would have been a lot easier if I had done it without the switches in place. It's all good, Lorenzo. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Where's the cheapest place you can buy switches and controllers? So if you're in the US, well, it's not going to flash correctly because it's running the KB2040. But you are correct. I should have even made sure that it still works, that it works at all, before putting soldering it onto the board. If you're in the US, however, for switches and controllers, I would say your best bet is MK Ultra, but I will have to say that I'm biased, if for no other reason than I have bought a lot of stuff from MK Ultra, so I will continue to buy a lot of stuff from MK Ultra, and I don't know, I consider him a friend, so whatever. But like, Board Source has Chalk V1 switches and controllers. Little Keyboards does. There's a lot of places in the US. If you're not in the US, I have no idea. Well, it's not that, I guess it's not that I don't have no idea. It's I'm not sure. I would say first check out splitkb.com in Europe. He's based out of the Netherlands, and bias note there, I'm a mod on his Discord. And I think I've used my mod powers there once. Like, he has so little need for mods, it's amazing. But he wanted someone in US time zones. And at the time, I was super active on his Discord. I will say that as far as pricing is concerned, MK Ultra is probably as good a pricing as you're going to get for chalk switches, because he sells so many of them that he gets like the cheapest pricing from Kale that you can get. Because I mean, he sells like thousands of those switches every week. As far as controllers, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for nice nanos, they're all going to be the same price pretty much anywhere. I don't know if Nicell requires them to be or anything like that, but like I've never seen a nice nano that isn't $20 or a V2 that isn't $25. And Pro Micros, I get them on Amazon. You know, I buy 10 packs of them on Amazon for $50 or $60 or something like that. Elite Cs I don't buy anymore. Just because I'm either using a nice nano or I'm using Pro Micros. Oops. Oh, I know what I'll put on this. For caps. So recently, I was sent a sampler pack of the official MBK dyed colored keycaps. So I have a pile of caps. Okay, there's a little bit of flashing on this. I'm gonna have to get out. Where's my deburring tool? There is my deburring tool. And that might not work. Oh no, it's fine. And while I have it here, I'm just going to quick do these other two. Might as well. So one thing I will say, Sam, for future things is I think I had one extra diode in the kit. And it doesn't look like I have any extra screw case hardware stuff. I would say for future stuff, make sure there's at least one extra of everything that's effectively free. Because especially diodes that roll. Because not everyone is like me and has 1,000 of those things. And like I said, I'm not sure how many extras I had because this already had some diodes on it when I got started, so I don't know what was there and what I put on there from what you shipped to me. But also because sometimes those diodes go bad or whatever, like always a good idea to have some extra stuff. Although I say this and now it looks like there is actually an extra screw and nut, but not an extra washer? Or maybe that got picked up by something. Just because little things like that tend to get lost. And especially those diodes, like, put 3 more in the pack. It doesn't cost you effectively any more money. And saves you the hassle and potentially your customer hassle. Because even having to ship out one more diode or one more, another roll of diodes, even like any amount of anything is going to cost you more than the extra diodes to begin with would have been. And then it's a better customer experience. Just saying. 9 screws, nuts, and washers. Okay. Then I will say the missing nut is probably on me. That sounds really bad. Sorry. The missing nut is probably my fault, I should say. Because yes, or not nut, but washer. Because yes, I do see there is an extra screw and nut. Okay. Cool. So let me put the bump-ons on. And I really should have gone with the... What was you had like purple... You had another case that you showed at one point that I was like, man, I really should have gotten that instead. Black with sparkles, mint. Oh, that's right. It was the glow in the dark. Yeah. I should have gone with that. If you do a round 2 and it's soon, let me know because I will buy just the case. Or if you're going to stock them or something like that. Because I can't be arsed to actually buy the filament and print it myself. I'm not going to do as good a job of it. Anyways. So my printer is not dialed. And I don't use it enough to dial it. To bother. Okay, so that is the board all assembled, except for... Shit. Except for the reset switch. Which we're just going to do from the top, because why not? Okay. Yep. There's actually, it doesn't even need to wick down so much. There's actually a little bit of contact on the top, so. Yeah, and honestly, if that hadn't been the case, I'd be like, well, I guess I don't have a reset switch. I have tweezers. There's reset and ground right there. That's fine. I'd say a good 10% of my keyboards don't have reset switches anyways, because the ones that ship with it were wrong, or I say were wrong. They're not the type that, like, Board Source sends surface mount switches for through-hole reset footprints, and I don't like it, so I just don't put them on. Or I just got the PCB because I don't have a bunch of those switches laying around. Because it's really hard to search for keyboard reset switch. And I don't know what the part number is, so. See you later, Ron. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks again for saving the build. That's 100% on you. Like, you saved the build. That would have been a very sad ending to this build. Okay, so the caps that I was talking about are upstairs. I will be right back. I'm going to go get them. And I'm back. So these are the sampler caps that I got from MBK, from Kart Sims. These are the official dyed MBK colors. And I will say, they look really, really nice. Yes, the art is fantastic. All of the art, my keyboard kitchen art, so like down in the lower left there, the stickers I have and stuff, that was all commissioned. I commissioned an artist named Purse. She's in the, I think primarily in the Absalom Club server, or at least that's where I mostly know her from. She, I believe, also did the art for, well, I know she did the s'more sticker. But she did the art that's on the back of this board and some other art for s'mores and stuff too. She's really cool. She's got great ideas. I kind of was like, I want a cutting board. And she came up with the slicing of the thing and just like, I don't know. Just awesome. Very cool person. Very cool art. Her website is madebypurse.com, P-E-R-C-E. Here, I'll just post the link in the chat. If I can type. So if you're in the market for some art, go talk to her. But anyways, so we've got kind of a random assortment of caps. Oddly, I got like 40, I think. I haven't counted them, but I'm assuming they're bagged in 10s. 40 orange caps. I got 2 blue homies, 2 purple homies, and 4 green, 4 purple, 4 yellow, 4 gray, 4 red, 4 light gray, 4 blue, 4 turquoise, just regular caps. Just kind of almost a random assortment of caps. So I'm trying to think here. This is 34 keys. We need 2 homies. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors. 4 by 9 will be 36. Plus 2, so we have 38. So yeah, I'm gonna do a oh, but these are grouped in 4s. I was gonna do like a rainbow barf board. Some sort of gradient. I think the first thing, I don't know, whatever. I was gonna say, I think the first thing I should think about is the homing caps, but even that, like, I don't even know. Maybe have it actually, instead of like column by column, do some sort of like, there's 4 blues and 4, kind of have it like, so this is why Kaz is the king of colors. Because he would look at this and he'd be like, boom. And it'd be perfect. And you'd be like, that's almost like how it was designed to be. But I look at this and I'm just like, colors. So I'm gonna go basic. No, I don't know. I was gonna say I'm gonna go basic and put all orange on, but I think I'm gonna put purple homies. Go with dark gray thumbs, maybe? See if a pattern emerges here. Yeah. Go with this kind of dark blue. Oops. Green outer pinkies. I like it. We're going to design this by committee. Oh, and those are the only two light blues that I have. I was going to put light blues here, but... No. Purple. Yeah, homies are homing caps because they have bumps on them, so you know where your homing keys go. I don't know. I don't know if Kaz officially coined the term, but he's where I pretty much stole it from. And I think it's brilliant. Okay, yep. This works. Kind of. Yellow should really go out on the outside. Eh. Come on. Oh. I see. Yeah, I'm trying for like gradients, and I think I've got it. I just need to fix... I need to put the yellows out here and the greens here, because it's kind of like blue, turquoise, green, yellow, and this is going to be orange here to kind of blend the red and the yellow. Tweezers. Too late, Anton. Too late. Yeah. Well, you mean like this? Kind of. Ah, yeah. That's what I meant. Yep. Instead of putting the green out there, because it kind of blends. And then the yellow kind of would come up here to blend with the red and the orange. The red and the purple. This turquoise is a little bit off, but that's the only other, you know... That's just all I have, but, you know... I think it's decent. Let me get my... Bucket MBK caps out. Oh, hi, Ant. I have a friend. Had a friend. Okay. There we go. Fully assembled. Just, it doesn't have a firmware, but that's okay. Because I can always circuit Python or whatever, or what I'm going to do is just wait for ZMK to work on the KB2040 and then put that on there. This is exciting. This is a cool board. I like the tilt built-in, what is that? Positive tilts in the case. Because that's my thing. Kind of. It's comfy. The pinky isn't nearly as weird as I thought it was going to be. The pinky stagger. Because it feels like it looks like it's so far down. But it's really not. It takes some getting used to not reach up here for like L and apostrophe. Because I use Dvorak, so this is FG or FGCRL, and this is something, comma, period, apostrophe, PG? I don't know. It's one of those things, like, it's muscle memory. I couldn't tell you where all the keys are. But yeah, that is it. And actually, you know, I was kind of, at first I was a little bummed that I got the white case. But with all the colors, the cap colors, I think the white case makes them pop. I think it looks really nice with the white case. And I really like these colors. Like, I hope they're showing up well on camera. They look like it. I tried to get the white balance correct when I got started this afternoon. It looks okay. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. And it does look like a pair of clogs that are kind of glued together. It's kind of funny. And it feels comfy. The whitest choice with the rainbow caps, yeah. I would say, if I was going to change anything, I would put... I would print the case solid instead of with 15 or 20% infill or whatever this is. So it has a little more heft, not so much for the weight, but more for it's quieter. And then put foam under the thing like I did with the Zaphod. There's just a tiny layer of foam back here. Quiets those. Like, these are both robins, and these are used robins. I've used this board a lot, so take it with some salt. But yeah, I can show the tilt on the case. So if you look at it from the side, just ever slight amount of tilt. I don't know what the angle is, but I imagine Sam knows. Jork, that name is familiar. For some reason I can't place it. At first I was like, Janrik, what? Janrik is the online handle of my friend who died of cancer in June, so that would have been really weird for him to be commenting. But Jork sounds familiar too. 6 degrees? Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty subtle. Yeah, I don't know. This is nice. I like this. I think this is definitely a good display piece. It does look like two clogs put together. Kind of like two. So this is the split version of the Osprette. As I was mentioning earlier, this is the split version, but it doesn't have TRS jacks, so it's wireless first or wireless only. Which means I probably won't build this because that's a lot of controller money. But it looks cool. And this art, the silk art here on both sides is also from Purse. And there was some discussion at the meetup of like, yeah, don't put my art where it's going to get holes punched through it or something like that. But apparently there is a final version that has TRS support, or has wired support, so that's good. Anyways, yeah. This is fun. This is the first keyboard I built in like a month. I think the last one I built was the Revion 34, which is still my daily driver. I got my Cat Cyberspace caps in. But what's funny is these are the Duroc T1 Silence, which I will say are inferior to the Boba U4s, but they're fine. They're just not as good, in my opinion. But the caps are really loose, so like this one in particular just pops right off. Like just without trying, they just pop off. And I don't know if that's the stems are too loose or too, like these are too big, or the stems are too small, or a combination of the two, or what. But it, this isn't as good of a travel setup because every time I put it in my bag, I have to fish caps out of my bag because they fall off in my bag. But, yeah. Anyways, this is awesome. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I'm looking forward to the KB2040 getting ZMK support, and I will, yeah. I will get that programmed, get this flashed as soon as I can. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, good build. So for today's bonus content, we're going to attempt to fix my Zaphod. I gotta remember how to use my damn hot air gun. And actually, I want to shut this off. I want a finer nozzle on this. So those are the 3 nozzles I have. I'm going to go with this one. I wish I had one smaller. Oh, that's how I know. Okay. I have a bunch of PCBs of NRF micros, and I have not yet assembled any of them. But one of these days I want to. And I call them cat controllers because that's the main draw for me, is that there's a cat on them. But yes, I knew. I was like, why is that name so familiar? Are you off to see the wizard, Sam? Screw it. This is there. Okay. Hot. Imagine that. It's hot. Got a final tomorrow. What's your final in? And also, what's the equivalent of break a leg with finals? Is that like, forget to wear clothing or something? Because I know, I'm almost 40 years old. And I still have dreams where I'm showing up at school without clothing. They never stop. If you're ever were like, oh, do those ever stop happening? No, they never do. How do I want to do this? Because I want to keep the heat away from the screen. Okay, first thing I want to do, actually, is pull this off of the board. Give me a little more room to work with. Okay, Jerry, now you're not making sense. Oops. OMSCS. What does that mean? Okay. Put that here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, to try to protect the screen from heat, I'm gonna put the PCB, or put this little bit of PCB here. Above it. And then I'm just gonna... Oh, okay, gotcha. Just gonna hit this with some hot air. Ah, shit. Well, it looks like the display is recovering at least. Now this is when I wish I actually had the pogo pins on this, because re-putting this back on here is kind of a pain. Okay, on. Oh! Holy crap! I actually fixed something. It worked! Holy crap. That's... Oh, man. Ah. When I turned it on and I saw all the pixels light up, I was like, awesome, it's fixed. And then Bongo Cat. Boom. It worked. Ah, that makes me really happy. So happy. I took the display cover off of this and I threw it away. So I don't have a display cover for this. But that's fine. I can print another one. I just don't have another one to use at the moment. So I am going to hold off on that. But I'm really excited that that worked. Oh man, that's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. Okay. And I didn't damage the display with heat, or at least, like, not that I can see, really. Like, it probably is a little bit, but it works. It's good enough for me. Oh, no, I did. Whoops, sorry, I just punched the mic. I was reaching back to turn the hot air gun off, and it's already off. But in the meantime, I punched the microphone. So I apologize, headphones users, because that probably sucked. Yo, Linux Fish. You showed up right in time for me to end the stream. I got done what I set out to accomplish today. That is to put this together and fix my Zaphod. both of which are complete. Nope, not new. It broke. The display, the ribbon cable had come separated, or I didn't know exactly what the problem was, but it was loose such that when I touched the screen, it would turn on and actually function mostly. But then when I wasn't holding down on the ribbon cable, it didn't work. So I decided to try to fix it before I replaced it. And it turned out that I just needed to heat up, reflow the ribbon cable, and that fixed the problem, which is what I thought it might be and was hoping it would be, and it turned out to be what it was. I'm very excited about that. So that reflow iron, you know, I say, you know, it paid for itself. It didn't, because that's like a $12 display. That reflow iron was not actually expensive. It was like 75 bucks, I think. But more expensive than the display. So it didn't pay for itself. But you know, it was worth the purchase, I think. Just because I actually fixed something with it. Because I bought it to fix the ferrous, which I gave up on. And the launch pad, which I gave on, but which was repaired by Critis. And yeah. Now the failure wasn't on you. Because the display connector, that display connector is from the display itself. Because on the other side is where the ZIF connector was. This is where the ribbon cable connects to the display. That's soldered on by the factory. Failure wasn't on you. It got mashed or pulled or something like that, and in transit or something, and it just came disconnected a little bit. But reflowing it fixed it. And it's probably better now than it was, because it probably was floated in an oven at a lower temperature or something. I don't know, whatever. I just hitting it. Okay, Jerry, it was all your fault. Entirely your fault. I guess it could have been your fault if you did something to it while you were holding on to it at Shoggoth's house. If you were just like, I'm gonna get in here and pull this off and it's gonna mess it up. But I don't think you did that. But anyways, I don't know if I'd quite say I'm back. Because there's, you know, I got enough. I got my desk cleared off enough to do today. It needs a lot more work, and I want to do more work. But at least you know, today I had a stream. I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I'm going to really shoot hard for having you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday streams again. Next week. It might be again Sunday a little bit later, just because I have brunch with friends on Sunday morning. I had that today, which is why I got a late start today, because my friend who I usually have brunch with is flying to Whistler tomorrow in Canada, so she wasn't going to be around for brunch, so she decided to have it today. But I'm going to try to do some more. But I got this in, and I was like, I've got to put this together, because people are starting to get their hands on their Osprettes, and you know, FOMO, I guess. Anyways, thank you all for stopping by. I'm gonna post some pictures of this online, because that seems to be what all the cool kids are doing, and I really love how the colors work with this. I think it looks great. Glad I got the Zaphod fixed. That makes me really happy. And also, I'll be perm banning Gary because he broke my Zaphod in the first place. So, anyways, thank you all for stopping by. See you maybe tomorrow, probably not, but definitely next week. Have a great weekend, and stay safe, and all that good stuff.